Put the oar in the water, get started, and fix it as you go. Learn as you go. You're not going to, don't wait. If you launch a perfect product with a great label, beautiful marketing, beautiful branding, all that shit, you waited about 2 years too long. Just put that shit out there and let the people speak with their dollars.
Paula Blankenship. Well, I tell you what, Blankenship, you're way more in depth, and there's way more sophistication. There's way more behind the name than just a Blankenship. Wherever that came from, there's something behind this. You should have some Italian name, or come from Sicily, or you should be like an Irish person.
Oh, I don't think I'm that sophisticated.
Paula Blankenship from Tennessee. Hey, there's too many things to give a crazy intro. So first off, welcome to Necessary Entrepreneur.
Thank you.
Thank you for driving up.
Me, Mark.
Yeah, thanks for driving up here and be a part of this.
Your energy's worth it. It's worth the drive.
Wow, she's skilled. She's skilled. She's going to make me speechless. So your story, we've talked a little bit. We're probably not going to get into all the personal stuff, but we'll go wherever you want. But
you go wherever you got to go there.
Well, I think what I want to take away today, and for everybody listening, is every really, really highly successful person I've met, they all have a story. And those stories are similar to what the average person in this country is going through. They just kept going versus a lot of people wave the white towel and say, it's too much pain. I've had enough. I just want to take a step back and live a normal life. But something inside of them, they always want more. And now with social media closing the gap, the world has gotten smaller. And I think that's causing stress and anxiety for a lot of folks because they look at their life and the life they're not living.
Oh, Lord, yes.
The story in between is what they're not paying attention to. So everybody wants the end game. They just don't want to pay the price to get there.
Right. They all think it's going to happen quickly. This certainly wasn't overnight. So I've been at this a long time. I've been in this paint game, let's say, for the last 12 and a half years. But what I did prior to that really is what ultimately led to the success of this business. So it's a culmination of all the failures that happened in the long paved road of heartache and pain and the grit and the getting up from getting knocked down over and over and over, time and time again, to where we are today. So it's from the outside viewer looking in to say, hey, well, that was an easy thing. You just so accidentally made a great product in your kitchen over there, and this all just happened so easily for you. But truth is, it was none of the above. It was a culmination of all the failure in my mind.
When you're going through it, do you know that that's an essential part of the process?
Not really. I think I was so head and ears involved here that I don't think I could ever step back and say, this is what's happening. And I can see the road ahead clearly if I just carry on here. I don't think I ever really understood the magnitude of what was really happening because we're so in the trench over here trying to just uncover today's issues and get to the next level. You know, I think I've always saw North Star, and I've always been walking toward that North Star, but that North Star has changed. Hell, that thing's moved everywhere. But,
so what keeps you going, though, if you can't see, it's almost you're traveling a path that other people did pave before, and that's what we're trying to share with people here. But you didn't see it because you had never walked it. It looked overgrown, unpaved. So how do you keep going in those moments of all that failure? Like you as an individual, what's the drive?
You have to have something bigger than money. I can tell you that. It can't be money. Money's a great attribute of what happens ultimately if you get to that place, but it's not money that drives me. It is the internal idea that I'm a problem solver. Some way that has to be internally. Whatever these problems were that I faced one day, putting one foot in front of the other, I just kept solving a problem, whatever it was. You know, if it was sales, money, execution, whatever those were, I just had this mindset of, I'm going to solve that one. We'll go to the next one. What's the next one? Bring it on. You know, can't get any worse. Hell, bring me another one.
But it could get worse.
And it has. It's gotten worse. Before it ever got better, it got way worse. I mean, that's why the herd thins so quickly, and especially in the entrepreneurial world, is most people can't take the pressure that they've even brought on themselves in their business. So,
how do we prepare people for this? How do we prepare?
I love that. That's a great question. I hear a lot of people use the word so often that they're entrepreneurs. And I'm going to tell you right now, no, you're not. Here's how you know you're an entrepreneur. Have you pushed the chips in the middle and nobody gave you a paycheck for it? Then you're an entrepreneur. You did not know if you're going to get paid for this deal or not. I cannot be an entrepreneur on someone's salary paying me to think and to do or whatever. It's a total risk. And if you're willing to do that and you put your blood, sweat, and tears and everything you own in it, and you keep putting your own money into it, you're going to grind it out. I don't think you're going to let it fail. You're the only one with the oar in your hand. I'm paddling the hell out of this boat. I'm not going to let it sink, because I know when it goes down, everybody on there is going down with me.
You're going down with it.
I'm going down. They're going down with me. So I've got a lot of people in my boat. I don't just have 58 employees in my boat. I got their family in the boat. So every day when I get up, it's not about me and what I want and what I need. It's about, hey, I can't let these people down. It's a lot bigger than me, and it's not money. Again, although it does take money to make it all happen, it can't be money that
from the outside, it looks like that, doesn't it?
It does.
It looks like that's what it's about.
It does. Oh, yes. For most people, they look and they go, oh, well, she's got it made, whatever. They don't live with me. They don't live in this head. And they're not in the strains and the stress I'm under. So there has to be some things that are good about life. As many hours as I work, I never turn it off. I dream about it. I work on it night, day, sleeping, and all that. So I'm obsessed with this business because I'm obsessed with not letting it fail.
With life.
It's not I'm obsessed with paint. I know whenever I tried to recruit my son back into this business after he went away, he was like, Mom, paint's not my dream. I said, son, you got to remove the word paint. We're in a business. This has nothing to do with paint. You have to assume the position over here that we're in a business. No matter what it is we're selling, we can be selling eggs. I don't care what it is. This is a business, and it all works the same. It's the same mechanics. You just have to forget about what it is we sell. Now, obviously, you can't forget about the product and what we do and what our whole mission is. But he wanted to act like paint was not his journey. I said, well, it wasn't mine either, I didn't think. But ultimately, it is my journey. It become everything to me. So I love paint.
That smile tells the story, doesn't it?
I love paint, and he loves paint too, because I see how it helps people. I see how our products help people change their world. So that's what it's been. It's been a grassroots thing. It's helped people talk about it without having to pay people to talk about it. We don't pay people to talk about our products. We let our customers talk about them, and they want to talk about them because they've ultimately experienced great things. I think we've probably one of the first customer acquisitions to actually over-deliver. We send them a sample, and 55% of those people will use that product, and they all come back and they're lifetime users of our product because it really gives them, it's not like a oil of Olay wrinkle cream, and you got to guess if it worked. I know the shit don't work. You know it don't work either. If it did, there would be no wrinkled people in the world.
I don't know if it works or not.
You've been using something, I can tell over there, Mark. Botox on you, I've got a feeling. But this product really does give people more than they dreamed. They don't know how to paint. They've never painted anything in their life, most people today. I grew up with a mother who said, hey, if you don't like the color of it, paint it. And I grew up with that. But a lot of people today, that's how I really realized there was something here for average people in the world to educate them about how they could transform their home with a simple thing called paint that they've never really ever tried. Believe it or not, there's a group of people growing up in the world that did not have a parent that said, paint's a great way to update your home. And they would go, really? Are you serious? When I first heard that on Facebook, when I first made my first post, I painted a dining room table. And I put this table up there because Craig and I had moved in together. Lo and behold, yeah, we did. We moved in together. We're old. We do that. But we moved in together, and he had a bunch of crap, and I did too, and none of it looked great together. So I started painting it up. And I posted this picture, this beautiful dining table that was a gorgeous table, but his ex-wife had poured wax on it, making candles or something, and ruined it. So I painted this table. And people said, how'd you do that? Like a big, huge question mark out there. And I'm like, seriously? They don't really understand paint, and I'm like, man, this is a educational opportunity here. So that's whenever the light bulb came on. Maybe there's something here that people are not being taught, or at least, the opportunity has never been looked at as that. And then, of course, Facebook turned into a live platform. So I said, let's turn that camera on. Let's show people how to use these products we're talking about here. And let's make it simple. Let's keep digesting this thing down and keep simplifying the process to where anyone can be successful at painting. So that's where we're at today.
Is that the first time that you took an idea and you executed it with a business? Because most people have the idea and do nothing with it.
Nope. That is not the first time. So, as I told you earlier, I dropped out of high school as a senior, believe it or not, but I wasn't going to graduate, so it was pointless for me to act like I was. And I'd been fooling my parents for a long time, making them think I was even going to school, but I wasn't. I was missing more than I was going, and I was tired of lying to those folks. I like those people. I had no desire to go to high school, but oddly, the first thing I wanted to do was make products. And the first thing I created was a travel pillow that I got my first U.S. patent on. Probably the proudest moment of my life is getting a patent on a product that I made, because it was a validation in a way that says I'm not stupid. Even though I have a GED, I actually did get a patent in a category that was ridiculously hard to get something in, because prior artwork was this thick in the file, because so many people tried to patent a travel pillow. Anyway, that was my first attempt at that, and successful, and launched it on Kickstarter. And
How old were you?
Not been that long ago. Gosh, I was probably 53 or something like that, 52.
Most people think they're at the back end of their life once they go over 50.
Oh my God, I did too. I honestly did too. I remember having those thoughts when I first packed up. And as I told you earlier, I started this business with my son in the kitchen. And he wanted something to do. And the backstory of that is I packed him up, and he was in the 8th grade, and moved him to a city where he knew no one, for a high school I had heard about through a blind date experience. And packed him up and moved him to Louisville, Kentucky. We never knew a soul there. And he hated on me for that. I mean, he literally hated me for this. And I thought, what am I going to do to bond with him? Have something outside of this angry moment that we're having. I wanted to do something entrepreneurial, and I thought this would be good for he and I to get in here and do this. And let's create something. So I painted that table. That was the first kind of idea. And from that, I thought, we should start painting furniture. And because my background is furniture and design, I thought I'm going to take a Chinese product that's already in a box with a packing material in it. I'm trying to think of the lowest common denominator here. Find a knockdown furniture product. I'm going to build a website, and I'm going to offer it in these colors. He and I are going to paint these unassembled pieces of furniture, slide them back in the box, and that was going to be a website. So I, with that, created a color card, posted that on Facebook, and from there started the journey. People started asking about it. So I put the product on eBay. And I thought, if I can just sell $100 a day of this product, that'll be $3,000 roughly a month. That'll pay my son, give him something to do in the evenings. When I'd pick him up from school, he'd come home and we'd fill these little orders. That was the goal, $100 a day, just to replace the goods and give him $20, $30, $40, whatever he wanted. And we could just do it for fun. And all of a sudden, it was selling more than the post office lady was coming to our house, and she said, "Listen, I ain't taking this no more. You're gonna have to take it to the post office yourself. I'm not picking this up any longer." So
you can respect a hard, confident woman.
Yep. She told me she ain't doing it anymore. Filling her truck up. So I made the move, and then ultimately moved into a little flex space over in Jefferson Trade Center, and we're in there about 8 months, and had to move again. So we've moved we moved 6 times in the last 12 years. Finally down to Taylorsville, Kentucky. We found an industrial park there that was bankrupt, and bought into that space, found a 10,000 square foot building there. And of course, we've built and built and built again. So we're up to about 125,000 square feet right now. So we just continue to grow it, and found a good home in Taylorsville. People wanted to work in that area. It was a bedroom community outside of Louisville. So most people were driving into town to work. And we also became an ESOP in 2021. So our employees are 49% owners of the business, and I think that gives them a lot of goodwill there in the community. A lot of people are hopefully have something when they retire that they might not have had otherwise. So it's been a great thing.
Mother Paula here.
Right, exactly. Just right off of Mother Teresa, somewhere in the middle.
Are we trying to make up for all of our past deeds? Is that what we're trying to do?
Yeah, probably in there somewhere. I'm definitely not been an angel.
We talked about how would we prepare people. That was the question, is how do we prepare people to be an entrepreneur? And it sounds like to me like just living life.
Yeah.
But so many people fail. So maybe there's literally no way to prepare for what this experience really is. Mm-hmm. And you can't know if you really want to do it until you're in it. Like, that does suck. Because
Yep.
that's not a good way to build a business or a business plan. But do you think it's that reality? Is there anything that can prepare us for this?
Again, I'm back to what I said earlier. I don't think people can become entrepreneurs. They either are or they are not. I don't think it's something you teach.
What's the test? What's the test so they don't ruin
the
their
litmus
life?
test
Yeah.
is, do you need me to give you a paycheck to become one? That's the litmus test. If you saying, hey, I believe in this shit so much, I'm willing to gamble and push everything I have in the middle, I'm going to roll it one way or the other. To me, that is the test.
Yeah.
That is the test. If you are that person and you said, listen, there's nothing you can do. I'm not going to write a business plan. I've never written one in my life, first of all. You've written one?
Not a business plan,
It's
not
a
the way the bankers want to
BS,
see it.
Right. I've never written one.
Because mine changes every 2 or 3 months. It just
Sure.
evolves.
I've
Gosh,
never
dang.
been bankable. I've never been able to, well, I am nowadays, but I never been able. When I needed money,
They didn't have it for you.
wasn't a bank in the town
now
that
they'll
would
give
ever
it to
talk
you.
to me. Oh,
So-
I've
so
been
you-
lining up.
That's it. So you better take it now, though, because there's going to be a time in the future. I
Sure.
promise you, you'll
But
need it again,
Sure.
and they won't want to give it to you.
Well, we make sure we parlay that around a little bit. So we
Okay.
got a lot of players.
Okay.
Keep them all interested.
Look at you.
Yeah.
3 or 4 bankers fighting over the thing.
Yeah. You have to be mindful of that. You don't want all your eggs in one basket.
Was there anybody in your life that inspired you unintentionally or intentionally?
Oh, many. And I told you about one character in my life from New York that you remind me of, actually, Mark. But prior to that,
You know that's better because yesterday the person's like, "Who's Mark?" Sitting right here at this table.
Like 2.5 hours into the conversation.
oh, nice.
I guess his 7 years in the NFL made him a little more important than.
Might have been getting a little hit on the head there.
I asked him about that. So you talked about the Italian guy, but can you look back on any like defining moment? Like you did meet that gentleman and you were around him for 5 or 6 years, I think, or something.
Sure.
But was there anybody else, if you look back, like is there a moment? Is it Paula's 8 years old, or she's 18, or she's 22?
Oh my God. I have had that character, this Glenn Nelson, come in my life dressed as many characters all through my life. I can go back very pivotal moments. Every single time there was a person who entered into my life that I didn't see them at the moment, maybe, but ultimately looking back, I can see them as those were the people that took me here. Every single one of those. I decided, when I grew up in my little hometown, my mother and father in the furniture business and worked for about 50 years. I never wanted to be in the furniture business. It took my mom and dad from me. I hated the furniture business. Always said I'll never be in the furniture business. So when I finally did decide that I wanted to go away and go to school, I went to design school in Nashville, outside of Nashville and Franklin, a little school called O'More, and wanted to start making leather stageware for entertainers. And I did that. So
Did you have style?
Oh, I don't know what I
No, you
had,
do the
but-
jacket and stuff. You're right. No, you do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
But started doing that and just handed out my business cards. And that's not an easy place to break into that, even though you think there'd be a lot of people that would want to take you up on that. There's not. It's all done through stylists, and the artists themselves don't do any of that. They just, they give this person a look, and these stylists pick out who they're going to use as designers. But I didn't know any of that, had no idea. And I didn't even know how to accept the no. So I just knew I was just going to keep calling them. This is way before a cell phone. It was landlines. And I kept trying to get a hold of Tanya Tucker. I hated country music with a passion, but I had one album to my name. It was hers. And I always thought I have a camaraderie with this person. I don't know why, but something about her I like. And I grew up, on Delta Dawn like everybody else, heard that on the radio. And but still, I never liked country music. And I thought, if I met her, I know she and I'd get along. I just feel it. And I passed out my cards in Nashville to some people that told me they knew Tanya. And one particular lady, her name was Des Zameek, and she worked for, at the time, the Judds and Dan Seal, and all at the time, all the top players, Winona Judd. And anyway, she tells me, yeah, I know who Tanya, I know Tanya. And she said, here's a phone number for her. I showed her a garment that I made, and it probably wasn't sewn the best, but it looked great. It had a
Sequins?
Had a picture. No, I did leather, all leather.
All leather.
All leather. I didn't do any fabric. In my mind, it was a better perceived value. If it's made out of leather, you can't mess up when you sew leather. It pokes holes in it, so you got to be pretty good. So anyway, what she saw, she didn't do leather clothing. This lady did fabric, but she saw the art piece of mine. It had a picture on the back. Oddly, in this jacket I have on today has a picture on it. But still, that was kind of my style. I would create pieces of artwork on the back of jackets, and I'd do them out of little small pieces like applique. And she saw that and she liked what I had done. I had done this piece of art from Impaglia. It was two people dancing on this black and white floor, and it was pink and white and black and all these pretty colors. And anyway, she gave me Tanya's number. Well, ironically, it was a number I already had. It was just to a landline dialing up her dad somewhere. And I'd left a message on that line, never heard back from them. So I wrote it off, hey, well, I showed her my jacket. Maybe she'll tell someone about it. And that was the end of that. So that summer, I was going out and kind of had set course. I thought, I'm going to drive and see every artist that's coming within a drivable distance of me. And I'm going to carry these 5 samples that I have, these leather garments, and I'm going to show them to them. And that's going to help me somehow. So I'd made these business cards, had these 5 coats, and I'm going out the door on a Sunday afternoon to see Jerry Reed. You remember him? Jerry Reed, you don't remember? From Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, I don't know. No, I didn't know the name. But I love Smokey and the Bandit.
He was
though.
a great, kind of a high energy guitarist. And anyway, Jerry Reed was going to be about an hour away from me in a little place called Parker's Lake, Kentucky. And I was getting in the car. I was in the car, actually, and the girl that was going with me, she was lagging behind, and the phone rang. Well, landline back in the day. She'd been down and grabbed the phone. I can see her standing on the phone. I'm like, come on, let's go. She puts her hand over the phone. She said, "It's for you." I said, "Who is it?" She says, "It's Tanya Tucker." I'm like, oh my God. All right, I'm going to go back, answer this stupid phone. Ain't Tanya. It was Tanya Tucker. So she was calling me from Cookeville, Tennessee. She'd stopped and used a payphone, and she said, some photographer gave me your card. And she said, I am going, now this is a Sunday afternoon in this little town, right?
You went and met her to where she was going to play, and you gave her the jacket.
Nope. She said, I am driving up to see you. She said, I'm going to be on the cover of Spin Magazine on tomorrow, and they're shooting it tomorrow. I'm like, my teeth are falling out of my head. I'm like, what are you talking? I mean, she said, okay, well, I'm coming to see you. I'm an hour away. And she said, I'm going to be bareback on a horse. And she said, I kind of have this native thing in mind, and I'm going to be whatever. And I'm thinking, oh my God, does she think I have a warehouse full of leather here? I don't. So I'm thinking chamois, natural leather. Oh, let me run to Walmart and see if Walmart closed at 6. I'm running to Walmart to get every chamois that they had. I think they had 5 or 6, and that was it, in the pack. They smell like petroleum. You open them. All right, so I grabbed those. She pulls in with her brother, her sister-in-law, and 2 children and a dog into my driveway. And she'd just gotten out of Betty Ford Clinic. And so ultimately ended up making her this outfit, and it's in the cover of her 3-disc set, if you ever look at that, the poster there. But I made that for her, and she ended up forgetting her dog there on my porch that evening and had to turn around and come back and spend the night with me. So that was solidified our relationship. And she and I have been great friends for 40 years. So from that moment. But through the years, I've worked for Hank Williams Jr. I worked for the Mandrells. Remember that Louise Mandrell? I did all her Desert Inn wardrobe for years. I worked with Dwight Yoakam, Patty Loveless, you name it. I've worked with a lot of different entertainers doing leather garments.
What about your favorite country man who's no longer with us? Toby.
Oh, Toby Keith. Absolutely adored Toby Keith. There are no words.
Did you know
Heartbreak.
him? Did you know him?
Did not know him. No, did not. Never met him. Never met him. Always wanted to.
Did you see that performance he had where he sang the song about not letting like the old man in?
Oh my God!
And
I can't handle it.
He was still fighting cancer, but he got up and sang it. And he wasn't in great shape.
Just hearing his voice crack, just
yeah. I went back and watched that 3 months ago. I'm not the biggest Toby Keith fan and all that, but I went back and watched it.
I am.
There's these moments, and I'm like, man, that was a moment.
I'm a big fan.
Just him singing that. Why were you a big fan of his?
Oh, I just love the American story, for sure. I love that he was proud enough to say it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
So Nashville,
the USO tour, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you've you know Nashville a little bit then.
I do. I've been around Nashville for a long time.
What about it? We're not allowed to talk bad about it, probably because you know all the people.
I mean, the music business is horrible, as you know.
Well, I don't know.
It's a very cutthroat business.
I'm having you tell us.
It is a very cutthroat business. Everybody that knows the music business knows that. And today, I mean, so many artists, including Tanya. I mean, she won 3 Grammys. The year of COVID hits, of course. But, not many artists have reached the level of success and had as many comebacks as her. But, the money's not there like it used to be. And of course, Spotify and all the ways to digitally download music has screwed these people to the cross. And
it seems like it's all about concerts now. They have to go back on the road.
Right. And used to be concerts were the way you lost money, not made money. Now it's the only way to make money. So as you can see, when that flips, they made money off of record sales and airplay, through ASCAP. And, that's
the
how they made
things.
money.
Yeah.
Nowadays, that's gone. They make pennies when their song plays.
What I do know about life and business, though, is things change.
Shit changes.
Right.
Yeah. You better get ready.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you guys made we could sit here and talk about Heirloom. I'm fascinated about this. Like, looking at your social media, you have a hell of a following.
We do. We've
Right?
gained a great following.
Yes.
Because we make a great product. It's not because they like me. I think it's because we make a great product.
You think
It
it's that
helps
simple?
people. Well, we have a group on Facebook. There's about 500,000 users of our product in there. This is really humbling. A lot of people sometimes will post in the group and people say, "Who's that?" They don't know who I am. So that's a great thing, because that means that the product is well surpassed myself and me and my image, which I want it to. It's not about me. It's about them. It's about how the product helps them. It's not about me or anything I've done. Then they end up digesting multiple videos of me. If they kind of come into the fray, then they're going to look through all these videos and they go, "There she is. That's that old woman that started that business. There she is." That's kind of how it happens.
There's an affinity for you, I guarantee, within the network. Though.
Well, I hope people like me.
In all your humble speaking here about it not being about you, that's fine. But you had the idea.
Well, sure.
Because you
I had
asked
the
me
idea.
something.
A lot of
It's
people had an idea about paint
I get
too,
it, but it's like, hey, is this your idea? I don't
Yeah.
want to say, yeah, it's my idea, but there's always one.
Mm-hmm.
There's always
There's
one.
a lot of naysayers along the way.
Yeah,
that
screw
I like
them.
to say. Yeah.
You had to get okay with that really quick, didn't you?
Well,
Did you?
I just had to stop listening. At the point, there was a point. Now, in the beginning, I never started this for me, something to do. I started this to give my son something to do. I had a career, as I told you, I was doing design work in New York City. I had plenty of, I had a lot of brain cells left at that time. And I had some joy, I wasn't just consumed by the business. I could turn that one off. It wasn't my business, but, I was still a contractor, so I had to perform to get paid. I wasn't on salary. So, I wasn't looking for me anything to do. I was pretty good in my place. But once this started and I kind of jumped in full-fledged here, then it was a different deal. Then it became a different stressor,
Yeah, you said when you used to have joy.
Yeah, a different joy. I could turn it off. I can't turn it off now. I love to travel, but I'm the worst traveler today because I can't turn it off. My husband's like, "Hey, I'm going to go over here." And
Did he know what he was signing up for?
No. He's always, when I met him, he was the vice president of Delta Dental. He's in the big group insurance business. He'd never been in business on his own in his life. He'd always said, "I'd like to be in business on my own." Well, I thought he meant that. But he had always worked for someone writing a check. Win, lose, or draw, he got paid. It really, I'm not going
It's
to
a
say
complete
something
different
bad
mindset.
about,
Yeah, no. It's a complete different mindset.
blue collar, white collar workers.
That's where all my people came from and still are.
Yeah. But I never came from that mindset. I've always been employed on my own. So
Your parents
I
had the
always,
furniture shop.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And, still, again, that entrepreneur people always say, well, if you work for yourself, you can do what you want to do and you can quote your own hours and you can do all this. And you have all these freedoms.
Listen, there's no freedom.
No, there is no freedom.
There's no freedom. So when you go and try to travel, you're a bad traveler. Is it that you go and travel, you just don't end up experiencing the travel?
Probably. Yeah. I'd like to not say that, but that's probably the truth.
Yeah.
I do go, and I do make myself go through.
You're present there. You're physically
I'm there. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I'm here. And I go through the motions, and I try to go places that I want to go, and I don't do beach and don't do that stuff. I like to go where I can have a little thought process to take me away. I can't just go down there and
Santa
stare at the
Fe.
sand and the sun and go, "Hey, this is great." I'm sitting here worried about burning my skin at this age. I don't really need that. I need to be something enlightened a little bit. So I like to go on things that are historic and stuff like that.
Is there one that sticks out to you?
I love London. I absolutely love London. Something about it's inspirational to me. Don't know exactly.
Recently?
Yeah, I was there recently, but I really love London.
So you recently made an acquisition. It sounded big. You were on the phone with somebody. I picked up the phone and we called someone. And I said, "Hey, I got a salesperson. You ever need to hire one, call her." So, and that's a pretty big acquisition. Is it public? Can you talk about it? Do people
sure.
know you? Okay.
No, sure.
So
I don't have anything hidden. I'll tell it all.
where'd this come from? Where'd the idea, how it happened? So we're now in a big M&A world which is mergers and acquisitions.
Sure.
And there's a lot of private money out there. There's a lot of venture capital. There's a lot of cash in this system right now.
I ain't used nobody's.
There you go, right? And
I
so
don't want nobody's money.
there you go. Well, because you've probably had it at some point. You know what it is.
I know what comes with that.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
That's
I
how
don't
you
want
know.
a boss. I
Yep.
don't want to hire nobody to boss me. Because
Where's that report? Here's that audit. Where's the, yeah.
That'd be a bad deal.
So take us through this acquisition.
Well, my goal after I started this business is I always wanted to control my own supply. Even drug addicts will tell you need to control their own supply, right?
You've lost your mind.
Yeah, I lost everybody that hung up right there. Well, hang with me. But yes, you can't be right in the back seat. If you're going to make a product and sell it online to where people see your retail and they look it up every day, they go, hey, they're making too much money over here. Let's raise the price of poker keeps going up. So I realized that a long time ago, and I said, I'm going to make my own product at some point. I want to be the manufacturer. I don't just want to be a marketing company selling a product I'm having made by someone. I don't want to go to China and get it. I want to control I want to become the manufacturer. I want to grow up and be a big person here, So that was always the goal. Always never saw it any differently. I didn't know how I was going to get there. So I started down the process once we had land and once we had availability to some resources, even though we're 30 miles outside the city. There's not a lot of people coming out of college today looking to be a batch maker and make paint. People don't go to school to do that stuff. So finding that talent pool, I knew I probably had to acquire something, not go out and start it from scratch. I did try that. I tried to hire people to help me consult and people to maybe find someone that would work for us, 30-mile drive every day or whatever. I was willing to do whatever it took, but I could never put the wheels on the wagon here. So about the time I do start making some traction, some headway with some vendors, some big players that are selling chemicals that were going to start selling us tankers of stuff, you have to get into the supply chain too. This ain't easy. They don't just welcome everybody. Hey, come on, buy some stuff from us. That didn't happen that way. You have to kind of ingratiate yourself into the fray to even get to make paint, believe it or not. So there's an allocation and didn't know any of that. I'm learning again. I'm back in the man's world here, kicking ass over here by myself, thinking all this stuff.
Men.
Yes, I know.
She's speaking truth.
So my poor husband, rather than worrying him about it, I just decided I wouldn't do that any longer because he didn't really want to make paint at this age. He was like, let's just continue on doing what we do. Let's just, we're doing good. Let's just keep doing what we do. I could have lived with that, but something inside of me wouldn't. Something crazy inside of me kept saying, nah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I think I feel very uneasy. So lo and behold, the company that made our paint product, the owner passed away. And when the owner passed away, that put us at a very volatile position.
The place you didn't want to be.
Yes. And they had no children. And the widow now, who's in her 70s, let's say, early 70s, in great health, great shape, whatever. But that's volatile when you start thinking about it. She came into some serious money, lots of things. So they already had money, but they came into a lot of money at that point. And it really worried me that, what if she decides to shut down tomorrow? There goes all my IP. There goes everything I have worked for too. It's not only closing me down or her down, be closing me down. So now volatility and the uncertainty of the future really begins to play hard on me. So I, again, didn't ask my husband. I thought, I'm just going to reach out to her. Here's how just go ask, call them up, get them on the phone. So I did ask her, would she want to meet for lunch? And she did. And it didn't go as well or didn't go anything like I planned. And I just told her at this meeting that I was going to make paint one way or the other. I'd already told her that in a meeting, and she just shut down on me when I told her that. So now I'm telling it to her again, 6-8 months later. I'm saying it to her again that I plan to make paint, and I'd love to do it with her blessing, and didn't want to hurt her business. But if she had plans to sell the business, that I was a player, that I might be a player. I didn't even really know the size of her business. I thought it was much larger than my business. I wasn't even sure I could acquire the business. I didn't know the valuation. I knew it was a lot of property. I knew it was a lot of buildings. Didn't even know how many people were, on the payroll, nothing. So blindly, I said what I said. And she said, well, you're not the buyer. I said, okay, all right. She made that determination in 2 seconds. I was like, okay, all right, well. So I don't know how we'll go from here.
Yeah, how'd you wrap up that meeting?
I couldn't hardly even swallow that bite that I was eating there. But I said, well, I'm not really sure where that comes from, why you said that. But she said, well, my products can't be sold online. I said, oh, okay. All right. Well, I said, before you knew me, I was actually selling my products direct B2B.
Consumer.
I was selling
business.
B2B,
Okay.
and I went, I was selling my products wholesale and going to all the trade shows and all that. She said, I didn't know that. So I said, oh, okay. All right. Let's just leave things status quo between the two of us. And if you decide you want to sell the business, reach out to my husband. Here's his email address, and y'all work it out. I don't want to affect our relationship. So I left it at that. So a year later, we bought the business. So we did start down the road. It just took a minute.
That second question you asked after you had the no,
Mhm.
you said, I don't know where that comes from, but, why not me?
Yeah.
Most people walk out the door and don't ask that question.
Probably because it was a hard one to ask,
Yep.
to be honest with you.
Yep.
Because she could have chose others, and she did try. She did try to put the business out to others. But I realized real quick in this poker game that I was the only person she was making money on. So I told her and her lawyers that
We're going to take our business somewhere.
had to be said that Heirloom will not be a customer going forward. So we're the only person who could buy it because there was no money being made after we were exposed to the books. All the other customers were underwater.
You're a killer.
So once I knew that, the game changed and we bought it. So
How was the business value? Because it's not just a simple multiple after EBITDA, because there's a lot of things happening there. There's property, there's IP, there's all sorts of things. It's customer. How'd you value it? Is it an M&A team?
yes, yeah, definitely. Of course, they'd had outside evaluations done. Of course, we had to do our own,
Which was lower than their outside ones.
Sure.
Yep.
We had to go in and see, what the actual market value is and what the gap standard market value would be and how that looks, and come up with our own decisions because we had to do a blind bid. We had to bid. She bid it out. So we had to put in a bid, and then we had to let it be known that we would not be a customer going forward. So the other two people that were
Backed out.
participating in this
Backed
quickly said, we're not getting a whole lot here. If we do own it, they're leaving. So the only place the EBITDA came from was us. So as soon as they saw that, and they weren't going to tell it, but we kind of pushed that to happen.
There'll be a movie made. Just ruthless.
A movie, yeah, that'd be funny.
But I mean, that is ruthless.
It's the truth. I mean,
I didn't say it wasn't the truth.
Yeah, it had to be said. I don't think it would have been fair for the other two players at the table to not have been told that the only customer you're making money on is leaving. I don't know where we were going, but we were going to leave. Somehow.
So how did the acquisition take us through then? You signed the papers.
Yep.
How's it go? How's it go?
Oh my God. Now there's a book. There's a book for you. So here's what I will say about this. And I'm going to be careful choosing my words here because back to the old woman at the man's table again. Remember, a 75-year-old paint company been ran by an absentee owner, including the family that,
husband passed away, yeah.
Including him. So the father started the business, came into the second generation of the son and the wife, okay? So absentee owners never really quite know the true history of their business. They're being told by others. So whoever was at the helm and however they had stacked the deck in their favor, right? So, the numbers don't lie. Numbers tell the truth here. So I felt like whenever we acquired this company, being an ESOP, all the things, this is an aging community of folks here that have been there a lot of years. Most of them been there a lot of years. So to walk in there, as I thought, there hadn't been a dime spent on anything. None of the property had been improved. None of the equipment had been improved. Most everything, I could look around, most people, including
Strip out all the money.
I could see that there were not anybody who cared one thing about this business, that we're cranking it for what it's worth here. So whenever we walk in the door, I think I'm waving a white flag like, oh my God, we're here to save you. Aren't y'all happy? Well, that was not the take here. These people were not happy to see us. They were like, leave us alone. Our check cashes. We come down here, put our hours in to go to the house. We don't need you to come in here and fix this, lady. That was really, I don't think I ever heard those words, but I definitely felt the sentiment of that, okay? Very divided house, two different plants, divided by a railroad track. So one group of people working here, one group here. These people wouldn't even cross over to help each other. Just so inefficient. A business that could not even run, in my mind. You could not manage this business, nor the inventory, nor the people. So I quickly saw, I got to do something here. I know what I bought the business for. And it wasn't a bunch of old worn out equipment and a bunch of old worn out buildings. It was the knowledge that these people had, this team, this people that did care about the business. that were willing to work with me. 3 chemists on staff, ultimately turned into 2 chemists. Then I ended up hiring my own chemist, brought her in. Phenomenal change there. The group that did want to be there, led by one particular man who'd been at the helm there for many years, that they all trusted and relied on him for guidance. Fabulous. And he decided he would help me make paint in Taylorsville. So with that and his gracious to come there to help us set this plant up and bring these men and that talent there and women, that we could do with his blessing, actually.
Did you even have any idea in the word and the idea of a culture when you were going in there? Did that mean anything to your previous business, or did you just run them the way you were going to run them and it worked?
The culture that we had at Heirloom, which gave us the wherewithal to buy that business, we have a culture there. You know, we have a very close-knit group of folks that all kind of came in the door about the same time. There was not a lot of hierarchy there, not a lot of white shirts. You know, everybody's pretty much working the same pace, you know, and everybody pretty much closely related salary-wise, just a few people that were outside of that realm. But the culture of downtown, totally a different vibe, totally a different group of people, totally a different entitled group of people. Seniority, those words enter in. You know, been here 25 years, I trump you, you don't know anything kind of mindset. So definitely a different, you could not take that group and add them to this group and everybody be fine. Not happening. Not happening. So how do I merge these folks now? Because they are coming. I have to set up the mindset that we are manufacturing a product now that is a little higher skilled. And with that, we have to hire the skill sets that we don't really, you know, we're not making anything. We're just putting a liquid in a can. That doesn't require that mindset over here, that these people have 25 years under their belt of making a great product. They understand the mechanics of making a product safely. These people don't have that skill set, but I am willing to bring anyone here that wants to learn over here. If they want to come, I want them to learn to make products if they want to do that. So,
are you in the process of this right now?
Yes, we are. We are. We have new equipment that's going to be set by the end of the year. So, yeah.
Thanks for taking the time to come up here in the midst of all this.
Yeah.
You needed a break.
I did. I did need a break. Walked off without all my credit cards, and we were like, oh, my God, do we even have any money? I normally slip this inside of a little
do you need
wallet.
A loan? Do you guys need a loan?
Yeah. I need you to spot me a couple hundred.
Is that
so
what we need?
Have dinner now. Thank God I had, thank God, you got an Amex?
20s? Yeah, but 20s aren't okay. Those are
thank God I had some cash in my bag. I was like, I told her, I said, maybe I've got a little stash in here.
Did she look over and say, do you have any with you?
I did. And she said, no, I'm tapped out. I'm like, oh my God, we've got $1 between us here. So I was going to an ATM. I've never drawn a dime out of an ATM in my life, but it turned out I had a couple $100 in my bag. Thank God.
Talk about this social media experience for a 61-year-old human.
You know, you'd never dreamed that would be such an anomaly in this world. And I hear this all the time. So I get this question posed to me all the time. How and why did you embrace social media? Well, at my age, not many people would even let their brain even take this on, you know? I think it was kind of I ate this elephant at one bite at a time kind of moment. I never walked in and said, oh my God, I got to learn social media. You know, I did one thing. I turned my phone on and just was myself. And I turned when Facebook became a live video platform, I thought, I'm going to be QVC. I'm going to talk about this stuff. I'm going to show people how to use this product. It was just that simple. And from that, I thought, okay, now we've got to figure out how to turn that into a video and turn that into an actionable call to action, some way to drive people to the website, you know. And then ads came about and we started doing digital ads. And I'd hired all kinds of professionals, so-called professionals, to help me learn how to do that. And the only thing they learned how to do was take my money. I've never hired a single digital professional that ever produced a single result that I could see some sort of metrics on a platform that said you spent $10,000. Oh, this is funny. I have to tell you this. So the first time I had a guy come into my office and he said, I'll do digital ads on Facebook. I was like, oh my God, we finally met the Mecca, you know, oh Lord, somebody can help us here. And, so he said, you have a budget? I said, sure. We're going to do $10,000. All right. I'm going to risk this because I've already heard these ads do great. And we're going to create some digital assets. Okay. So we make these videos or whatever we give him. And he goes away. And when he leaves that day, I said, when did these ads start performing? He said, so and so, whatever timeline he told me. I was so green behind the ears. I started hiring people to answer the phone. I thought the phone's going to ring. I was like, we got to have somebody manning these phones because these phones are going to light up when these ads hit. Not a damn call came. Not one person saw that ad that he ran for that $10,000. I'm not sure he ran a single ad, but he told me that's what we were doing. So I just had to believe it and lose 10 grand. So that happened more than once, but that's how much I believed. And that's how old school my brain was, that I thought, we're running these ads and there's something actionable going to really happen. That old phone is going to ring, not a call. So therefore, I had to finally say to myself, I've got to learn how to do everything. And if I don't know it, it ain't happening. And I got to know how to do it all. And I still believe that today, right now, that if I don't know how to do it, I'm going to get either snookered or took, and somebody's going to steal my money. So I have to learn how to do it all. At least be, passing the litmus test here that I can do. I can create an ad.
So it was necessary that you did it. That's why.
Necessary, absolutely necessary. Or that, or just go broke trying. So I had to learn how to do.
That's an option too.
Yep, I had to learn how to do it myself.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you like these types of conversations, be sure to follow The Necessary Entrepreneur on your favorite platform so you never miss out on future content. So your son's in the business with you.
Yes, he is. He started again, like I told you, started off when he was a young man and 16 years old, and we got through high school, and he would come and work for me through college and come home and, for the summers and stay with me for 2 or 3 years there. But, by that time I had some employees and wasn't always great. He didn't always like one particular person. But we got through it, and he would come back and would always tell me it wasn't his dream, it was mine. And finally, he took a job with a construction company that hired him as a PM on a job, and he actually got an ag degree. So he didn't have a degree in what he was working in. So
hardly anybody does.
No, but they saw him as a visionary, and so did I always. Of course, everybody sees that great things in their child, but I saw him as a conceptual person who could visualize and actually knew how to turn a crank of a tool. He knew how to use a saw. He knew how to use a drill. He could build it. He could see it. He could put it on a CAD, and he could build it. He could do all those things. And today, finding that in one human being, that ain't easy.
It's rare.
It's very rare. So only thing I had to do was rein him in, because he, as a person, is he ain't a cakewalk. I love him dearly, but he's a lot like his dad, who all good things I'm saying here, but I don't even want to say this, but I will. He's a chauvinistic guy, just a bit. He doesn't know that about himself. He believes that I'm his little mama. He's going to show little mama how we're going to do things over here. So
is he the only one that semi gets away with that in your life?
He is the only one who gets away with that in my life.
Yeah.
So, and
well,
he knows
semi.
that.
I'm not saying he totally does.
Yeah. He gets away with more than he should. I give him a lot of grace, and I still do, because here's one thing I learned about raising a son as a single mother. He had his dad in his life, but I had to be the love and the discipline in my household. So I learned early on that it is better to raise an overconfident child than to try to create confidence in a child. So he was always over his skis confident, way out over where he should be. But I knew he could grow into that. But then I've got to see, in contrast to that, my stepson, who has no confidence, and he's trying to gain his confidence at this age. And he and Brady are a year apart. But to try to see him gain his confidence at this age is very hurtful, painful. So mine's got more than he needs. He could give it over here to this. Too bad it can't be done. But my son is growing into himself. And so I feel...
How did you create a confident son? Overconfident?
I really realized real young that he jumped for a carrot, meaning he did not allow, or he was never one of those people I could beat into submission, meaning I couldn't chastise him, take things, or whatever. I could never say, all right, well, you're going to lose your phone if you don't do that. He was never one of those kids. I could tell him that I could get him to do anything by saying the praise reward much easier than I could take things from him. He would just shut down. I couldn't make him do anything. He would just buck up. So I would think, all right, I know how to get him to do things. I'm going to praise him into it. worked like a charm.
Created a semi-monster, even though you love
I
him.
did a little bit of a monster, but
He's got 3 kids now, though, right?
he's got
2.
one and one
Okay.
on the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has that changed him?
Oh gosh, yes. It's slowed him down a lot. It's made him have a little self-introspection a little bit to really see it ain't easy. It ain't easy being a parent. And now he's under the microscope that I've been under. You know, he's held me to a hell of a standard. So, this is a great thing I'll share with you. So I wrote a book a couple years ago, a self-written book here through ghostwriter, and put this book together.
I'll need a ghostwriter too.
Yeah,
because it's not going to come out the way it should.
Yeah, get the ghostwriter. Trust me, if you're ever going to finish the book. So the ghostwriter did that, got the book, put it together, and I told my son, I said, I want you to be on the back cover with me. You and I are going to take this picture. And he had zero interest in the book. He felt like he's lived it. He don't want to read no book. So he said, what is this book about? I said, well, it's about struggles and hard times and kind of how we got through it all. He said, Mom, you haven't had any struggles. That took me a minute. And I thought, that is probably the greatest words you've ever said to me. You do not know how much I've struggled and how hard it was to do what I did with a child that I never wanted to see me hurt. Never. I made sure that when I took him to school that I brushed my hair, I drove a clean car, I kept my house clean, I cooked meals so he came home, he had a home life. I made his room nice. I kept our home nice. I kept his clothes. I did those things, not for me. I did it so he had a stable feeling at home. I never wanted him to see anything broken about me, and I hid it well. So he didn't even know I struggled. So, it's not always you go back, well, we didn't have any money. That's not true. We always made a great living, or decent living at best. But I never wanted him to see me hurt. And that was great because I never rocked him. I never rocked his confidence.
Where'd the hurt for life come from? Like, I'm not trying to sit here and put you, but
hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've had several failed marriages. That's not always a great thing to drag children through, and long extended relationships. People that were great to him. One particular one that was great to him, terrible to me. So, I stayed in that relationship for a long time, just trying to not have the swinging door. And that was a lot of hurtful times for me, a lot of lonely times to be married to someone you have no
connection
shouldn't
with.
be
Nothing.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't be there. But I was there for him. I just did not want to change lives. And that was some hurt. And not having a partner, not having anybody you can lean on, not having anybody that even would carry a gallon of milk into the house. They'd buy beer, but they wouldn't buy any milk for you.
I think that's the stuff you're saying, that it's probably nothing. There's probably a different lived experience for men, but a man I don't think can relate to what you're talking about.
Probably not. But
Yeah.
certainly women can, because there's a lot of me out there.
Yep.
Physical abuse, went through a lot of that. So when there's physical abuse, there's a lot of mental that people don't see.
The mental grind and torture.
I never let him get me there. He wanted to beat me, take that confidence from me. And I thought, you know what? I'm a survivor, man. You're going to have to kill me, because you ain't never beating this out of me. I'm going to outrun you one day. I'm going to get out from under your ass one
This
day.
is so good.
And I did. I finally did.
So you've got a big chip on those shoulders.
Yeah, some. Yeah, there's some pain there. I cover it up well.
Yeah.
I'm
what do
a
you
great
do?
husband now, though.
Yeah,
It
there's
was
no
all
doubt.
worth it.
Yeah,
all worth it.
you wouldn't have done it if not.
All worth it.
Yeah.
All worth it.
You're the one putting him through the pain now.
I put him through. Probably, you're right. I put him through the hell I once did. No.
You're taking all that from the shit from those
Yeah,
guys.
I try not. I have to refine me some.
Do you at least let him go to the country club and play some golf
I
or
do.
something? Okay.
I do, and I encourage him
Yep.
to do that, because he knows I'm too high strung. So you know what? I say I'm high strung.
I don't
I'm
think
really
you are.
not. I'm really.
You're driven.
I don't yell in my home. I don't agree with that. I like quiet and easy, and I just I don't live that life, and I don't yell at work, and I'm not gonna let nobody yell at me at work. So
You said quiet and easy.
yeah, I am very much so. I'm very quiet
Okay.
at home. I'm very quiet. Now I talk business. Here's probably where he would love to shut me up. When you're in business together, what else we got to talk about here? At this age, You're not talking about sex and whatever.
Yeah.
You're talking about something else. So I don't know how to fill the airtime. So my talk is what's on my mind. My heart is our business. This is our common ground.
It's about going through it with somebody, right? It's
That's
about
right.
choosing the person you want to go through it with.
He doesn't love it like I love it.
Yeah.
He doesn't see it like I see it. I see it as my everything.
Is he okay with it?
He's okay with it. I think he would love to retire. He's 65. He'd love to retire. He'd love to be, on the beach somewhere in his mind. Again, he can travel. He's the traveler. He can go turn it off. But old me, no, I'm not. He would like to be more social than I am, and he would like to get out and do more things. And myself feel sorry for him, actually, for that reason. And women out there, I'm not even going to tell you his name. Okay, he's kind of cute.
You wouldn't be with a man that didn't exceed the standard these days.
He's super kind to me.
That's awesome.
Yep.
You probably deserve it.
I hope so. I'm good to him too.
Yeah.
I am. But I probably beat him up on the business side. I know for sure I do because that's the only channel I got.
Do you all have the beach house? Do you have the getaway place to go?
Oh, he would love to do all that stuff. And we built a cabin down in Tennessee where I'm from, in my
Sevierville,
hometown,
Gatlinburg, all
down
that.
little Oneida, Tennessee, and started working on a cabin down there. And I got reality hit me about a year into this project that's turned into this massive ordeal. I don't have time to go to this cabin. When I'm home, I've got these very few moments. I'm not going to want to pack up, go to a house,
4 hours away.
try to get there and furnish it and get groceries in there and do all the yard work. I see projects.
Pay for other people.
I can't just see it. I can't just
pay for other people to do that.
and right. They could go live there and I'd never even know it.
But to get the groceries to do all that, so all you do is show up.
Just work. I know, but that little town is not like that's readily available to find that.
Okay.
It's a very small community. Lots of great things. Beautiful place to be, but it's a rural area. So I can't see that as an enjoyment for me. So I'm trying to sell it, and I probably will die with it on my roster here. My
Paid
guess.
too much for it than it's worth.
Well, I've built too much there. Just built way bigger than I'll ever sell in that little town. Got a little overzealous in the beginning. Sounded great. Sounded fun for a minute.
It's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
My real estate company's in Florida.
Do you need a home in Tennessee?
Well, I can set something up. I have my Tennessee license now too. We're getting ready to open an office.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Would you like it in a little small town in a national park?
No, I'd love to sell it and make a commission though.
Well, okay.
Sounds like you don't have the person getting it done, so maybe.
Well, I have my sister who is a Tennessee realtor there that has it listed, but it definitely need some action.
You know what? She has it listed. We get things sold.
Okay.
So,
all right.
but
We're
Florida.
going to talk about that before I leave here, Mark.
Florida would have been a great move.
Yeah.
We could sell you something down there.
I'm you know what I like? I'm going to a 5-star hotel that has somebody bringing me food.
Yeah, well,
that's where I'm going.
But you said you loved your husband, and he would like the beach.
Yeah.
And you said you'd like to let him travel a little bit,
Yep.
so we can get you a place on the beach in Florida. I'm going back down a week and a half. I'm selling some friends a place.
Yeah,
right?
We go to Florida every year. We go to the Keys. Most of the time, we go down there.
So we're in Sarasota and Tampa and St. Pete. There's some awesome places there.
Mm-hmm.
And then what you can do, there's a beautiful Westin right downtown Sarasota.
That's me.
Okay,
I'm the hotel person.
So let's get you a condo or a nice house right on like Anna Marie Island.
Yeah, there you go.
If you want him to go out there and
then I got to worry about it all the time.
No,
So
you're
less is more.
I
As
agree.
I get older.
You're starting to build
Less
a
is
wife.
more.
You're starting to build a wife though that you can have folks around you to help you do this.
Well, you say that, but again, I don't know that I can turn over that much control. A little bit of a control freak here.
Do you ever play music?
Yeah, I'm a singer. I didn't play music, but I am a singer. I am a
Good.
singer. Well, somebody said I was at one time. Yes, back in the day.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You remember Jimmy Dean's Sausage?
Yes.
Remember those people? They used to have a contest every year, and I won the Jimmy Dean Sausage Star Search deal at one time. Sure did.
In Nashville?
It was a competition all over the country.
You almost got that contract?
Well, there was 3 people in the final, and I was number 2. So the winner, I don't even know who the winner is. I wish I could remember who the winner was.
What year was that? 70s?
Oh, gosh, I was in my 20s. I thought I was old. I was about 25.
Okay. So that was been 88.
Yep, that's about right.
Yeah. So what's going to become of Heirloom with now you owning the production piece behind it?
Oh, gosh, Heirloom is unlimited. Not only did I acquire the paint company, I also acquired their brands. So now, we were a one-trick pony. We had Heirloom and All-in-One Paint, the All-in-One Paint products. And, I can extrapolate that out for years. And there's lots of great products that we're making right now through our, our lab. And we're with our chemists, we're working on several different pain things for consumers. And can't wait to introduce those new products. So that fuels me completely. I love making and solving more problems for consumers, and everything wears out in time. Everything in this room has a finish on it. It's going to wear out, so it's going to start looking bad. So everything inside and outside your home has a need for
Yeah,
a
you told me
coating.
you told me my building looked bad.
I did not. I told you your landscaping and left and right of that door look terrible. What are you going to do? Those concrete pieces that are showing.
You're talking about where the mats were laying over. We just took up the old tile and we have new going down.
Oh, there you go. You
Yes.
didn't tell me that.
Although I wasn't trying to be
asked
defensive.
you.
I wasn't trying to be defensive.
was
I was taking
asking.
the criticism.
There you were.
I was accepting it.
No, you weren't. You told me that was different in Tennessee versus Kentucky. Northern Kentucky, I should say.
Yeah, you don't accept us.
Southern Kentucky.
You all do
maybe.
not accept us.
I don't know that Tennessee accepts Kentucky.
No, you
And-
Louisville
and-
folks don't.
Oh, true.
You all don't know that we have special things up here.
Right.
You don't.
That is exposed concrete.
We're doing big things up in
I know.
Northern Kentucky.
Yes. I agree.
So
You're almost Ohio, so that's close enough.
it's tough. We don't have an identity because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're
It's that
inside the
river.
loop.
It's that river.
Yeah, it's not
Doing
it's,
it to you.
It's not awesome. So you said the sky's the limit. Anything's possible with this brand.
True.
As I thought about the growing business, the struggles with onboarding new cultures and putting companies together, you're not the chemist.
Nope.
You're not the person that's running the plant, I'm assuming.
Nope.
How have you learned to build these businesses?
Ooh. Always look at it like this. I might not be the one doing all those things, but I'm smart enough to hire the best ones to get it done. And, I'm not a chemist, but I can go hire one. I can go hire a hell of a one, and I did. I hired an awesome one. So I already had 3, one left. Got another one to replace that one that's even better. So
I bet she's a woman.
she is a woman.
Of
She's
course.
fantastic.
Of course.
She's a brilliant, ranked number 14 BASF chemist in the world. So she's really good. She knows her shit. So
What's a man supposed to do in this new woman's world? You all been in the man's world forever. What's a man supposed to do?
learn to deal.
Yeah,
That's it.
And I'm okay with all that. Like there's a new big conversation around this masculinity piece. It's I listen to it. I don't get involved in it. I just
I'm
sit
not a
back and
woman's
listen.
libber, by the way. I believe if you're good,
Yep.
it don't matter what you
There
are.
you go. Go
You
get it.
Man, woman, child, it don't make
Yeah.
a shit. If you're
There
good,
you go.
you can figure it out. It
If you're-
doesn't matter the gender.
Yeah, if you're good, the opportunities are coming.
I never look at a man and go, well, I can't compete. And I never look at a woman and go, oh, I'm competing with a woman or I'm competing with a man. I'm just saying, hey, competition, let's bring it.
There
Let's
you
see
are.
what you got.
There
You
you
know,
are.
it don't matter who you are, what
Yeah.
you are, what you got. What you got swinging. I don't mind.
and you don't mind saying it.
No, I don't care saying it.
Are you hold back a little bit because you're aware this world can't handle Paula the way that you're just wild and out there and going to say what you're going to say, like right?
I don't know that I hold back. I think I'm pretty out there.
You've mentioned it a couple times, like I don't know if I should say that. No, but so that's different. That's a different Paula.
Yeah, I try to be honest and I try to be forthright, and I feel like I'm an open book.
Mm.
I really do. I've said a lot of things that I can't retract.
Mm.
On the personal side, let's say, on the
Ooh.
business side even too. But truth is, the truth will stand when all else fails. So I'm all about telling it. Might as well tell it.
Might as
'cause
well
people
live it
can
too,
find
right?
It. They
Yeah.
can find it if they want to look.
Regrets.
Regrets. I wish I'd started this shit just a little bit earlier. I wish I had. Well, it wouldn't have happened earlier. Wouldn't have happened earlier. So not any of it could have happened earlier. It was all meant to be right when it happened. And I wish I just knew how much time I had left. So I like to say I'd like to live it to the rafters. I've done some things this year that I probably might make people mad or whatever. Bought a car I wanted. I'm a car person, love cars, and thought that'll make people mad, but at the end of the day, they're not me. They ain't living in my shoes. They're not in debt. They don't have the worries I have. If I want that damn car, buy it. So I bought it. I'm not going to worry about those stuff. And you can sit back and think about people examining every move you make all the time. You're going to offend someone all the time. But at the ultimate end of your life, when you lay it down, why do you care? why do you care? I just like to say, I'm going to live it on my terms, and I'll face the music. If you don't like my car, you don't like that, I can go buy that, whatever it is, house, car, whatever it is. I'm only going around here one time. So I'm not judging other people for what they do. So
it was a little Mercedes S-Class convertible.
No, nope, it's not. It's not. It's a Mercedes, though. You got that part.
It takes one to know one.
Yeah.
Yours is probably cooler than mine. I'm just an SUV guy.
It's not. No, it's an SUV. It's actually an SUV. But
G-Class AMG, I guess.
nope.
I'm still off of it.
You might be guessing a minute.
How could they be upset about this?
No, they're not. I just know how people are.
How are they?
Well,
and they as a part of we too.
Well, I think people always look at what you do and examine, and people in your business particularly would say, well, that's probably not a good move. Let's hide that.
Yeah, it may not be.
Let's hide that. Let's hide that. Why? Why the hell I need to hide that for?
Do you have the reserved parking spot with it?
Nope. Well, I do. I have a parking spot, but it's not reserved. Anybody can park in it.
Doesn't say Paula's. They don't, but people don't.
The people don't normally, but they have in the past for sure.
So 2024, it feels like to me, I was looking out from this building a day or two ago, and it felt calm.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, I have a lot going on, but there's always calmness that sets in this time of year though too. Around Thanksgiving, at least in this Midwest or the South, it's kind of the time to, if you do take a little moment, it's the time for family and holidays. I don't do that the best either, but things slow down a little bit more, it seems.
Sure.
But I looked out. Now, we're just right here above the city. I don't know if you saw the...
I did.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We could use some touch-up on the building. And I'm sure you saw that. And but I looked downtown, and it looked calm. And it feels like we're ready for a comeback.
Sure.
Feels like that to me. The pandemic and COVID was wacky.
Sure.
We didn't know what to do with it. I don't care what side, but we didn't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And interest rates have completely changed the business world.
Sure.
Completely changed the metric.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of what you just went through of acquiring the business. There's a lot of businesses right now that are for sale.
There are.
People are aging out.
Mm-hmm.
They're retiring. They're passing away like that. It's a new opportunity in a new age in business and entrepreneurship, and an opportunity for us to, it feels like an opportunity for us to go out and just kill and eat what we want.
Mm-hmm. Are you getting ready to buy something?
I'm always buying something.
Yeah. Sounds like you're looking.
I'm always buying.
I want to buy a paint company.
Nope. I'd like to buy more buildings. And so, and I'm always learning. I'm always seeing things. And it just feels like right now in the business environment, it feels like I can't put my finger exactly on it.
Well, sure. The election's over. I think people having the world didn't come to an end. The world didn't fall apart, and streets weren't being burned down, and the cities weren't burned, with all that, I think there's a huge sigh of relief because I wasn't really sure exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you weren't exactly sure what was going to happen. And the transition of power, whatever it is, whatever team you're on, it doesn't matter to me. But
and whatever happens,
I just hope that people realize we're all Americans. We're all here at the same table. And if we want to destroy the table, wow, okay. But I think we have to build this thing. We have a lot of adversaries around this world that hate us for everything we have. And if we're falling apart, how are we facing that enemy? We better get our shit together on this side of the table if we're going to face the battles ahead, because as they all got their guns pointed this way. So I just hope we can come together as a people. That'd be my hope.
There's a lot of hope.
A lot of hope. Absolutely.
What about responsibility?
We should all be responsible right there for just what I just said. Every single person here, I don't care what side of the table you're on, you are responsible here to these people, this country that where tax dollars are coming from and supporting families who work and who don't work or whatever. We are responsible to be an American people, not as individuals that are fighting for a separate cause. We got to come together as a people because, again, these adversaries are coming together as a people against us. So
we're so capable too. That's what's crazy. This country, what we still have, what the previous generations have built for us, is tremendous.
Well, I don't think a lot of people, especially young folks, let me back that up. This election, I think, gave me a lot of hope. A lot of hope. A lot of hope in these young people that I thought maybe social media and fake news and all the things may have blinded them to truth. So I hope they will educate themselves and listen and learn and see what it took to get where we are today. A lot of people give up a lot to get us here. And the old adage is freedom isn't free. It's probably some of the truest words ever spoken. So some people never know that pain. These young people, they don't know anybody that was lost at war or gave up and gave anything up. They've never experienced loss even in their life. So they don't even know how that feels.
Y'all made it easy on them.
Yeah. This generation, the generation before me, because, my group of folks didn't really go into any real battles. Well, they did. I mean, they were.
But they didn't put you all through it.
No, they
Right.
weren't demanding I go.
Yeah.
But, there may come a time when we all have to
Maybe
do
so.
something like that. Who knows?
That's why I should be
hope not.
proactive, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what about choices
In what vernacular?
in life?
Choices. Well, I mean, I think everybody's faced with choices every day. You can either win, lose, or draw here, or keep paddling with that one oar if you're the only one in the boat here that believes in the story. And kind of the entrepreneurial vision here is the choice you make to get up and keep going every single day against all odds and against anybody in there that really is kind of maybe paddling the opposite direction. You have to figure those people out too.
Yeah. So can we touch on that? Let's touch
Yep.
on speak to people who work for someone else.
Oh, my
Not
God.
here's the thing.
This is probably not a subject you want to hear from
Well,
me.
no,
at this
no,
one.
no, I want to, and here's what's good. You're not talking to your people today. You're talking to everyone else
Mhm.
that works for someone.
The old saying about keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's a true one right there. So sometimes you trust people in your camp that you think are on your team, and sometimes you realize they weren't on your team at all. And sometimes it takes a lot of years to really reveal what was really truly behind the scenes going on. And I've had that happen to me in the last few months, and it's been hard and painful, but eye-opening. And probably the best and the hardest thing I ever did was to open my eyes to what was truly going on and to take proactive steps to end it, because it seemed people I know out here listen to Gary Vaynerchuk, and I've listened to Gary for years.
Who's that, Paula?
Yeah, nobody knows the old Gary V. But Gary V used to say this, and I heard it years and years and years and years. If you have someone toxic in your camp, get rid of them, no matter if they're make you more money than anybody. And when you hear that, and you have an applicable person that is at 100% fits that, and you can't pull the trigger, that's hard. That's hard. But when you finally do, and you're pushed to the brink, and you finally take that step, unbelievable the changes that come about. First of all, I knew all shit rolls downhill to me, so I couldn't push this to happen because I thought there's so much here to unpack that I don't know the water I'm stepping into.
Well, Warren says when the water goes out, you see who's naked.
That's exactly what happened. The water went out. This one, I saw exactly who's naked, who's standing there, who all the shit, where it all pointed, 100%. But I couldn't do it because I kept thinking, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. And this story was on and on and on for years and years and years and years. And the cost, again, poker just kept going up, 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 and up. And the damage that was being done behind the scenes and the trust factor, all of those things, it hurt me in a personal way and it hurt me in a business way. But I am stronger for it today. And my son had to push me there. And thank God that he did, because I don't think he realized how deep this was and how hard this cut, but he also could see the damage that it was doing, not only to our business, but to me personally. And it was meant to. I mean, it was all in the plan of this party. And taking that step has been the best leap of faith I've ever taken, honestly.
Why didn't you? Because you actually thought it would cause worse things by
Yes.
doing it, because you knew it was there.
Knew it was there. I knew it was there all along.
Yeah, you
Again,
don't-
Gary V's words in the back of my head, always, get rid of the toxic, get rid of... Every person around was saying, oh my goodness, this person is detrimental to your business. People outside the business, inside the business. We're saying those things. You have no idea what's going on. And I was like, no, I can't believe that. I can't believe that. I can't believe that. Kept giving the benefit of the doubt. And ultimately, that was only this top of the surface. And then
Yep.
all of them were naked
Yep.
once that water drained out.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it. Congrats for making that happen. That's tough.
Yeah.
It's happened to us all.
Yeah. Oh,
It's happened
gosh,
to us
yeah.
all.
I'm sure it has.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ultimate betrayal.
It hurts.
Especially when you're paying somebody the top of the food chain for the trust and for all the things that you think you've built together. When you find out that you weren't building them at all, you were over there on your own in your own little island.
Yeah. So what do we want to say to employees? Like, let's talk to employees, because they don't want to hear it from their boss or their owner. They don't want to hear about who they should be, the responsibility that they should have, how they should act as an employee. Do you have perspective on that? Because there's so many people that not only maybe they don't want to be an entrepreneur, but a lot of people shouldn't.
But most people should not.
But they still want a better life.
Sure.
I know there's a direct line from where they're at to where they want to be. I know it's there. I can tell them exactly how to do it. It's kind of similar to the entrepreneurial journey. It's kind of similar. It's just they get to go home and go to sleep and not worry about the things.
So true.
But they should act like they own it. See, I love my boy Gary. I love Gary V. But I will push back on something with him significant. I know I have a good friend who's getting ready to come to town and work with me, who's been in his studio and was on his podcast. So one day, me and Gary will sit and talk. And I have massive respect for what he's built.
He's on this kindness kick right now. So
yeah, he's back from, but no, he's getting a little mean again. No. He's back to the old Gary. I love the guy of 2 or 3 months. He's been awesome.
You can't wrap everything in kindness. I wish you could.
He's off of that shit now because he's realized it doesn't work.
Good.
Yeah, he realized it.
Thank you, Gary.
No, he's nasty again. I love him. So he's dropping F-bombs and telling people to work harder and all this shit. So, but here's the thing. He tells business owners that we can't expect people to work like us.
They're not going to.
Hold on, but bullshit. Here's why it's bullshit. Everything I have in my life is because when I was the employee, I acted like I owned it. And I took the responsibility.
You're an anomaly.
Doesn't matter, but that's how you get there.
Yep.
You get there. So I didn't have the responsibility, but I acted like it every day. I did more than I was paid for.
Well, that's why you're sitting here instead of an employee.
But that's the point, though. But they could actually have an incredible life as an employee and be one of the go-to people if they're willing to take that sense of ownership every day. And that's
as long as they don't get jealous.
Yeah, I get it. Well, but
that's what happens. So I tell you how you create that. And I think if people are listening to this, and it's not said enough about ESOPs, and that's an employee stock ownership program. Someone at my age starting a business, I'm not sure it's exactly the smartest thing you could do. But I will say, if you are in a business and you are cash flow positive and you have great EBITDA and demonstrative books to where, audited books, and you want to do something, you can't go public, that's a big deal. But it's a great way to take money off the table. And it's also a great way to help your employees feel like they are part of the ownership of the business and they can create value in the business. Because at some point, if they look around and they go, oh, that lady's 61, her husband's 65, there's going to be a change of control here at some point. Whether we like it or we don't, we're either going to kick the bucket or we're going to sell this thing. Once that happens, their stock gets paid. So all they're working for to help us be profitable, to help us make great decisions, to help us make sure people are actually pulling their own weight, whatever job they're doing. To me, that helps people understand they're important and the value that each person brings, and they will help drive that. I don't care who they are, how smart they are or how smart they're not, they can quickly understand that if I'll do my job better and pick up paper I see on the floor and just the little things I do, and I am efficient with my time, not sitting on my cell phone, and somebody's not going to walk around here and guard me and whatever, make me do my job. If they want to do that on their own because they know it is moving the needle in the right direction, that has to come from an inherent place. It can't come from me standing over them with a bullwhip. They have to want to be that. And I think that ESOP helps people. I really do. Not all of them. Some of them never understand it, nor will they even try. They're all in it, whether they want to be or they don't. Why they'd opt out of it, they can't. But they don't have to earn it. It never is part of their paycheck. It is something that is given to them.
Over time.
Over every single pay period.
Yep.
That part of that goes into a trust. Goes into a trust. It's not money that I have sitting in somewhere. It's held by a fiduciary. And all that said, ESOP's a great way to help owners take money off the table.
How did it occur to you to do this? Was it out of necessity? Did you want to develop loyalty?
No, none of the above. None of the above.
Don't tell me it was out of the kindness of your heart.
Nope. No, it wasn't. I really was working with a book or an accounting firm, and just happened on an open call to say to one of the accountants, I said, I really want to get my books in order, because we were doing audited books beforehand. But I said, I really want to work toward, I want to do an IPO. That's old school. That's me. I'm IPO all the way. I'm Martha Stewart. I'm wanting to do an IPO. I mean, that's my shoot the moon moment. But I said, I'd love to do an IPO one day. And it wasn't even in a position to do that. But I was dreaming, let's build the books 5 years. Let's really work toward the bottom line. Let's look at EBITDA. Let's grow the EBITDA. Tell me what we need to do. That was kind of what I was asking. And one of the accountants spoke up and said, I'm not sure you really want to be under the governance of, going public. That's a hard road to hoe, And I was like, oh yeah, Martha Stewart did go to jail. Let's listen to him here. But he said, maybe you should do an ESOP, and I'd heard about ESOPs, and I said, oh my God, that sounds painful. I don't know I could handle that many partners and everybody in the business being a partner. He said, no, that's not how it works. Well, you want to take a call and listen to these guys and talk about it? I said, sure, I'll listen. So I'm listening with half of a closed mind already, thinking I've got to hear all of these people tell me how to run the business. And it's not that way at all. And of course, we held 51% of the business, so we have control. Mm-hmm. All right. So that's what to do, is definitely set it up in that way so you can still control your own business. And then the ESOP, the benefits of the ESOP and tax benefits of the ESOP are all wonderful. So it's a great way to return.
Way to sell your business one day.
Yes.
That's it.
And I will sell it one day.
Yep. Louisville, are you involved in the Louisville business marketplace? Are you involved, like the chamber and all that stuff?
Oh no,
there's a semi-deep breath
yeah, I've gone through a lot of those organizations, and I hate to say it, but I'm not cut out for that stuff. I don't need the accolades. I don't need another glass award. I don't need any of that stuff. It don't mean shit to me, and I love what you do, but at the end of the day, it's a buffet and a talk.
All the bullshit waste of time.
It's a buffet and a talk. Sad to say, I don't know that it helps anybody. I went to something. I think this is worthy. A guy that I hired that moved his whole family from New York told me about this event that was going on, that it was going to be in Lexington, and it was a great event put on by the WPO, the Women's Professional Organization, right? And but we should go. I said, sure, love
Probably
to go.
the Griffin Gate or something.
Right, I'm going to go because he asked me to, right? So he's going with me. And we go in, and it's all of these symposiums going on in every room on this whole thing. It's on the university campus out there, and big deal they're putting on here. And I go in and sit through some of these because that's where he's at. He beats me there, and he's already sitting in one. And I'm listening to this man, this long, drawn-out affair, and there's about 40 people in the room, and they're all taking notes, diligently writing down. Everything he's standing up there telling me is basically how to prepare yourself to get into business and to get started. He never one time tells them, just get started, do something, put a damn oar in the water. He never one time says that. He's telling them, make a business plan, go to your banker, sit down, have these conversations, start this, start that. Never one time does he say, listen, start the process, iterate as you go, fix it. They're still digesting this product over and over and over, trying to get perfection here. Just launch it. Put it out there. See if it lives or dies. Squash it if it don't. Burn it in the backyard. Whatever. But he never, ever says that. It's all this long, arduous process of what you got to do to go there. I'm leaving there thinking, man, you set 40 people in that room off on a course of dead-end road. Not one person is going to actually walk out of there and start a business and do anything with it. They're going to go down your path of the book you wrote, obviously, selling a book. You're going to have to read that book and follow all these steps. Hell, I'm done quit before the night's over. I'm not reading a chapter of it because I'm tired.
What, do you have a CPA or something?
Yeah, he was from some marketing company.
Yep.
I don't remember now, but it was just this long, drawn out steps. I'm thinking, if you really got a great idea, put it on social media and launch it. Build a website. Start it and see. People vote with their dollars, and if they like it, they'll buy it.
The marketplace is an awesome thing.
Yep. It's just like kind of like an auction. it's worth what it brings. There you go. They're gonna vote with their dollars.
Put your oar in the water.
Put the oar in the water. Get started and fix it as you go. Learn as you go. Don't wait. If you launch a perfect product with a great label, beautiful marketing, beautiful branding, all that shit, you waited about 2 years too long. Just put that shit out there and let the people speak with their dollars. Let them say, hey, that's a good product. The packaging sucks, but it sure did paint stuff good. That was us. We launched an ugly ass product, but it works, and it works great. And people love it. So they came back and they encouraged me then to make it look better. And it's gone through a genesis of looking better and then looking like crap. We went through COVID and couldn't get packaging and
there's more to come.
Oh gosh, yes, I'm sure. I hope that we don't go backwards on the branding side, but we might. I hope not.
How does someone come and work with you?
Oh, we're always hiring talent for sure. Always looking for great talent.
Doesn't matter if there's an opening or not.
Yeah, I never say there's no opening.
Mm-hmm.
If I like you, we'll figure out something. I'm always looking for talent. I proposition people in a restaurant sometimes. Wait until I proposition the guy at Lowe's Sunday. He knew more about paint than most. I loved him. I walked in. His name's Steve. I walked in Lowe's and I let them mix my samples for me when I'm testing colors because it's cheaper than paying my guys. So I just walk in there and picking out colors, and I hear him yell across at this older couple that was standing there, probably my age, but I thought they were older. But he yells across to me and says, "What problems can I solve for you today?" I thought, I'd hire that dude right there on the spot.
That's the first time you've heard that in years.
I have not heard anyone address anyone that, "Hey, what problems can I solve for you today?"
See, that's how to be an employee.
I loved him, and I told him, I listened to him for a minute. I never even said a word, and I listened to him.
Did you drop your paint? Did you drop your paint?
I did. I just kept walking around there, just listening to how he was engaging with people. He's yelling across the counter at people. How could he help them? I thought, man, he is a unicorn in here, because this place is desperate for help. And I asked him after the fact, after he's mixing me all these samples, I said, "So Steve, what inspires you to get in here and come to work?" He said, "I'm retired. I'm an engineer. I'm retired, and I come here for fun." 6 years he's been doing that. So I said, "Man, oh man, you're my guy. I like you already. You're wound up and you're ready to help people." And he said, "Nobody tells me that." I said, "Well, I'm telling you that. You need to hear that. You're fantastic at
going back
greeting
in there?
customer." I won't wait till he's in there. I should have got his number so I could tell him, "Hey, I'm coming when you're there."
You'll get him if you want him.
Yeah. I don't know if he'd be willing to drive to Taylorsville. I don't know what I would do with him on the south side, since we're an online company only, but he's energetic and charismatic, and you just don't see that today. They don't train. You can't train that. You cannot train that want to help people into people.
You have to be around it. You need to be mentored from someone, right? It has to rub off on you. That's how I said, how does someone come and work with you?
Yep.
Right? If they're anywhere within 100 miles of Louisville. I mean, you moved a dude from New York City. Jesus,
I did.
right?
And his son, who said he'd never move south. He wanted to stay. He likes cold weather. Who in the hell loves cold weather? He does. He loves the snow.
See, that's why we need to get a condo in Florida. That's exactly why.
I don't love cold, for sure.
We can get you a nice jet card.
There you go.
Right?
Net jet me up. There'd be my husband now. That's speaking his language.
It's only about $6,000 or $7,000 an hour. Ooh,
put me on any first class seat.
That's why it's Delta first class. That's the only way.
That's the only way.
What else do you want to talk about today? This is good. Your business and what you guys are doing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
You spend the time. There's no doubt. I feel like I've given my life history here.
There's more. There's more. Yeah. No.
Yeah, there's a lot here to unpack. But.
Well, I think there's some things that people can take away.
I hope so.
I think that I feel like I've lived a normal life in the beginning,
yep.
and I'm building some fun and cool things.
Mm-hmm. You are. This is cool. This whole building's cool, what you've done here.
We've just begun.
I know. I can tell.
We've just begun. There's so much more to come.
The old pivot. I love that. That's that you have on a shirt that says pivot.
Yeah.
I totally believe in pivot. So whatever you're doing, don't work. Pivot. That's the key.
16 years ago, I was a realtor working for a brokerage. 17 years. I've been licensed 20 years. And hard worker. I mean, that's just the story of life. For people who achieve a lot, they were hard workers. And it doesn't always mean it's physical. It just means a lot, man. It just means a lot of time. When I say hard work, I just mean a lot of time.
Sure.
And a lot of commitment. And
I'm not out digging a ditch, but
no,
I'm burning it.
Yeah. And it's just important to me every day to do a really good job.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Whatever I did. And that led me within 2 or 3 years of just kicking everybody's ass, even at a 20-something-year-old realtor, because that's young to be in real estate.
It is.
I'm selling homes and properties to people.
Most
that are
retirees are doing it,
older.
right?
Yeah, I had an apartment when I first became licensed, and I'm selling real estate to people. And but I woke up one day doing really well with a very large company, and I realized I was a number, and my clients were numbers because they were the biggest in town. And every time I tried to do something innovative for me and my clients within the system enough, I'm a rule breaker at times. I'll follow the law, but I'm a rule breaker.
Oh, me too.
Right. But they just didn't have any interest whatsoever in helping me innovate and grow. You had to work within the system. And I hope I know that. I hope I remember that enough that I don't build something that's immovable for the people like the young Mark. I hope I do, because I think we all could fall into a place. So
you're hoping to find the young Mark somewhere amongst your discoveries of humans, right?
Well, I tell you what, if I find that guy, because
you're going to nurture him,
I'll change his life.
Good.
Because he'll help me build mine. I will change that human's life, and he won't have to be number one. He can be a Steve Ballmer at a Microsoft, who now is worth $12 billion and owns the LA Clippers, but he didn't start it. He was number 12 employee at Microsoft, and look at the life he built from being around Steve Allen and Bill Gates and all those guys. So, but I just realized that I knew I wanted to stay in the business, but I looked around. I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. That's the reason for the title, the necessary entrepreneur. I didn't want to be. I would have been happy being a realtor, making $1 million a year, and just building. I mean, if you're an employee and you make $1 million a year, you can build a hell of a life. And I looked around. I wrote down on a napkin. I wrote down all the attributes that I wanted a company to have for me to work at, and I looked for them. I did, and they weren't there.
I started to say they don't exist.
They didn't exist, and so I started this. I pivoted to create the company, not for anyone else. It's the company I wanted to work at. And I didn't have any other hopes and dreams or what we're going to build, none of that shit. And I pivoted away from what this industry has always been. And we're still in the moment of it, and it's funny. It's become the COVID word, right? A lot of people. So, and the domain was available, so Pivot Realty, whatever.
That's pretty cool.
So I think, yeah, you can just be a simple guy like me, raised a simple way. If you really grit evolves. But if you've got hard work and tenacity and you really care about doing a good job, everyone looks at me like, how is this built? It's like, guys, I just cared about doing a good job when I was pulling weeds. A 14-year-old kid working for a landscaper pulling weeds, I cared about pulling the weed the right way. And then all that compounds and your brain grows in the things you understand. And then what happens is if you start something, you look different. And then people want to be around different. And then all of a sudden the thing. So yeah, I'm just looking for 3 or 4 more people that want to be different.
Yep.
Because I can change this real estate world in the whole Midwest with just 5 or 6 people like me. Yeah, and I can give them a better life than mine because I don't want this life.
You'll draw them in.
We're getting close. I want to develop from within, but it's tough. People don't want it. If they really don't want the thing, we have me and you have high expectations.
That's true.
Yeah. So, but I try to have a lot of fun, but work's always on the mind. If I'm up in the hills of Spain a couple years ago, me and Jen are there and looking down over the Mediterranean. I end up having a client who has a villa, stay in the villa for free, travel all around Spain and go to Ronda and Granada and these places. Works on the mind. Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but it is what
you know
it is.
it. You experience it. You know
Yes,
it. Yeah.
I do.
But I'm finding we went to Morocco and went over to Africa and so I'm trying to do a better job being present.
That's good.
I am.
Turn that phone off a minute. Maybe you can turn the brain off with it.
No.
That's my challenge too.
You can't. The problem is I can't. I see everything.
I do too.
And
maybe that's the difference. I see everything too. I see the world and the flaws and the things that could be better and the things we can fix and the solving of the problems. I see a project.
Yep. Yeah.
I'd like to just be walking in like my husband. He don't see anything wrong. He can walk in, everything's perfect to him.
And it really is I can acknowledge that I guess I'm happy who I am because the me can't understand me in any other way. But I'm also aware and smart enough to know that it's actually an easier life if you were different, if you were the way you were talking about.
Oh, sure. It is a much easier life.
Because simplicity, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you ain't changing us, though.
No, we're going to go out this way.
Yep.
Yep.
Hopefully a lot more years before the Pine Box shows up.
I hope so too.
if we make it to Louisville, there's a guy down there who's a big bourbon guy named Fred Minnick. We've been trying to get together with him for a podcast. We'd love to come by and see you guys.
Well, I hope you do. I hope you do. Come see us in Taylorsville.
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 Are you going to end up becoming? There's the real estate gurus of Waco, Texas, Joanna and Chip.
Chip and Joanna.
Are you going to build that with this whole?
We have a great retail store already. Yeah, come see us. Come right across from the golf course there. So we have a beautiful store.
Do you have a real estate contact in Louisville?
I do. Have a couple. Yep.
I wasn't wondering for my own business. I'm wondering because we buy and sell real estate. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you.
Have an awesome day.
And
your guru, your social media guru over here.
Yes.
She's just sitting in the background learning and growing from
Dakota.
all these little moments.
Yep.
Dakota.
Yep.
She waved. Guys, she waved. Thanks for coming up.
Thank
awesome. And hey, what's for them to get the little plug? What's the one place they could go and just
all-in-one-paint.com. All-in-one-paint.com.
It's a fascinating product.
Thank
they
you.
can go find it.
Yeah.
This wasn't some big marketing podcast, but I looked into it. I was like, this is cool.
Check it out. Check it out. We'll send you a free sample.
All-in-One Paint. And once one social media place they can come follow you in all your live videos.
All-in-one paint. Check it out for
Same
Heirloom
thing.
Traditions All-in-One Paint. Yes. You'll see us there.
You guys are awesome. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all.